Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
I knew that my goal was not to fight there. It was to fight with a suit and tie later on. So, because I had my share of battle, this was not the time. They were armed. That's very scary to have that kind of people armed. I'm not happy to see where Canada is going. You guys are going to be remembered for the right reasons. Unlike our police officers and our government right now that just blindly listen to whoever they listen to, the elites of the world or whatever. So I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you're doing for the citizen of Canada. And this is wonderful.
Dave Leduc is a multiple-time world champion in his specific sport, a Malaysian martial art known as Lethwei. Now, Dave knows about health, he knows about training, and he knows about weighing and taking risks. And as you'll see, Dave also knows about freedom. You see, Dave received a lockdown ticket for $1,550 approximately for speaking at an anti-lockdown protest in Montreal in December. So Dave reached out to us through our civil liberties project, fightthefines.com. And now Dave joins me to tell his story. Take a listen. Hey, Dave, thanks for joining me. Why don't you give everybody just a brief synopsis of who you are and what you do? Because you're not exactly an average Joe out there protesting. You're kind of a high-profile guy.
First and foremost, I'm born and raised in Quebec. I'm Canadian, and I turned a professional athlete about 10 years ago, and I made this my vocation. So I became very involved in martial arts around the world, and I became a multiple time world champion in the most brutal sport in the world called Lethwei. It's Burmese boxing. So from Myanmar, Southeast Asia, they have the most brutal and aggressive sport. Which I have two sides in my personality. I'm very kind outside of the ring, but then I love to test my limits in the fighting ring. So Lethwei is bare knuckle fighting with headbutts allowed. So it's it's a top notch over MMA or UFC, as we know. So it's very, very fun because you can use all the limbs of your body. But I also, after fighting abroad, like in Japan and Myanmar, I started opening businesses and investing in businesses. So I have quite a fun portfolio of international businesses. And I also lived in many different countries. So I know my share of, I lived in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates, which it's kind of a dictatorship monarchy, same as I lived in Thailand for about 3 years, lived in Myanmar as well, which is they just recently got out of their military junta. So now they're officially a democracy, still working some issues there with the military. But it's I have my share of experience around the world for this. So now I came back to Canada to be honest, to fight for rights, and because I want to live my retirement in one of our land that we got in Cyprus in Europe, which is more peaceful there because it's European Union, but very harsh measures. They had curfews not too long ago as well. But I came back to Canada to fight for my home and native land. That's what I said when I was a guest speaker in front of the Parliament the other last month with Denis Rancourt and a couple other a couple other patriots, I call them, because that's what we are. We're just fighting for what's right. I'm very ashamed. My wife is actually born in Russia, in the end of the Soviet Union. So we really, she actually had goosebumps the other day thinking about what's happening right now. She said, "This reminds me of what I've seen in the past." Think about this: like they escaped to Russia, and now we're seeing measures that resembles that.
That's a very great point to make. Now, let's talk about how you got a coronavirus ticket. What were you doing that day that caused you to sort of run afoul of the COVID cops?
So, like I said, I came here to protest and fight for rights, and I would have no problem if the government would be transparent and presented us with really clear explanation of the science and have a public debate. So basically, I organized with a bunch of other leaders. Organized a protest downtown Montreal on December 20th, and we had, according to the media, a couple hundred people, while they had like hundreds of policemen, and they actually we were 20,000 easy. We were very, very, it was open to the public with, kids, grandmothers hitting with, it was a peaceful protest, but they want violence, in my opinion. I think they wanted some kind of fear. They wanted to intimidate everybody. They were there with hundreds of police with, I don't know what I called it, but crowd, like, with shields, and they were ready with guns and grenades. They were ready for
riot cops.
Right, that's the word I was looking for. Which for me, it's asinine. Nothing pointed out to that. So that actually cost the government money, a lot of money to have these guys in overtime, probably. Anyway, so that for me right off the bat was a big no. And I saw it, I'm like, that's not normal. We had kids, and anyway. It was, so I wanted to ask. The goal of this protest was to ask for transparency, which we don't have at all. We have no idea what's happening right now. I wanted to ask for a public debate. So that was the big message. We had how do you call that? A press responsible, which usually when there's a protest that size, they're getting calls from the media to see, okay, what's your message? How many people were you? She never got a call. So the media started, CBC, they started talking about like, they're just anti-mask or not. No, we're not. If the mask is justified by science, which there's a lot of thesis, there's a lot of things that says it's actually asinine, doesn't work. I'm all for science, and but the media, the government in Quebec, they actually refused to same as Ontario, refused to speak to hundreds of doctors that had a different voice, and that for me is a big no. It's very dangerous for democracy. So to make a long story short, I did a very, I'd like to think, a very eloquent speech in front of in Montreal. It was getting cold, so we speeded up, and I saw that the police were trying to, grab people from behind and give them ticket one by one. Officially, they give about 270 tickets, $1,546. They give about 270 fines like this to all kinds of people. Even actually, my dad got one for having a scarf under his nose while he was away from for smoking a cigarette. And he's 60 years old. And this is disgusting. They got him like the wolves around a sheep. They went to get him, and he was just, okay, give one to me. But me, as soon as I got off of the stage, obviously I got some kind of an interview with a gentleman there. So he was filming me. I was there, and while I was filming and talking about what's happening, we see on camera about 20-ish police officers surrounding me with bikes, because they make a barricade with the bicycles, which I find it funny. In the snow, they have bicycles. Nobody was using it. Anyway, we're coming in, and I see them circle me from the side. I'm like, what is happening? They're actually very cautious, because they know they're in the right. That's my opinion. I think they were very cautious. As soon as I was finishing my interview, I proceeded to leave the circle-ish, and they grabbed me without even telling me my rights, without telling me anything what's happening. I'm like, please remove your arm. I'd like to know what's happening. I don't know the word in English, but in French it's voie de fait. If you touch somebody, I think it's I'm looking for the word. It's assault. Yeah, assault. Anyway. So I tell them, gentlemen, please tell me where to go. We'll walk together. And they're like, no, I'm grabbing you. They're starting to pull me. People around me were very proud that I obviously remained calm. They want, in my opinion, I saw the anger and the hate in one of the police officers' eyes. I wrote actually a criminal complaint to one of them. I'll tell you why. it's already deposited in the SPVM in Montreal. So basically, he started to grab me and said, guys, I can walk. I was very calm. I was very cooperative. Just tell me where we're going and I'll walk. No, and they start dragging me, pushing me and intimidating me. I think they wanted, from my opinion, I think he wanted to make a case on me. He wanted me to revolt and, beat me up with his friends to make a case. Look, you see, guys, we beat your friend Dave. You guys want to still protest? And anyway, so I just remain calm. We go to the car. I give them my name, and then I felt like I was surrounded by riot police. At least 40 riot police. Him in front of me and the car behind me. So I was completely surrounded. I was not going anywhere. And obviously, according to the law, you're very recognizable. There's no need for use of force because they can type my name on the internet, go on Wikipedia, see my date of birth very easily. It's very easy. So there's no need for that. And he started to push me a little bit, say, stay at your 2 meter. I'm like, you're the one, you could back off. I'm behind a car. I'm in front of a car. I'm surrounded by don't have to push me again. And I felt like I was getting it was getting out of hand. I was getting provoked. So I start on my phone, start open my camera, and I wanted to film the interaction. He grabs my phone from my hands and throws it behind me on the hood of the car. I could not believe that. Even if I was in the wrong and I couldn't film the altercation, right? The interaction, grab it and confiscate it. But don't throw it. This is completely out of line. And he broke my iPhone 10, $1,500 phone. The other partner comes back from the car and he gives me my fine, $1,500 fine with all the extra charges. And then I proceed to leave, and I notice, and then I'm told that my dad got one while I was getting written down as well. So this is pretty much the summary, but overall, I felt like the police officer was very worked up. He was not happy to be there. I think he hated us, and that's not a good feel. My wife actually said afterwards she wrote a deposition in my complaint about this what happened, and she said if it was me or my kids or anybody, I would feel unsafe to have police officers like this that just blindly listen to orders and don't have the citizens' interest at heart. They're supposed to protect us. The power they have is derived from us. So I did not feel safe at all. Actually, if I wasn't a professional martial artist and somebody that doesn't have that restraint that I have, for example, maybe they would probably have somebody to be up. Somebody would have reacted differently. I knew that my goal was not to fight there. It was to fight with a suit and tie later on. So because I had my share of battle, this was not the time. They were armed. That's very scary to have that kind of people armed. I'm not happy to see where Canada is going.
Dave, I want to extend to you and your dad, actually, the same offer that I extend to anybody who reaches out to us at fightthefines.com. I want you to keep doing what you're doing. I want you to keep protesting. I want you to keep fighting for freedom. I want you to keep being a professional athlete who knows how to take his own health seriously and measure risks every day in the ring. I want you to keep doing that. So that's why we will provide to you at no cost to you a lawyer to help you fight this fine in court, where you can tell the full story of what exactly happened to you. We'll crowdfund your legal fees at fightthefines.com. And that's the offer that I'm extending to you. And again, I'm extending that to your dad as well. If you'd like to give me his information, and I'll reach out to him and we'll formalize that.
What you guys are doing is beautiful. I want to lift my hat off to you guys. It's such a, you guys are going to be remembered for the right reasons. Unlike our police officers and our government right now, that just blindly listen to whoever they listen to, the elites of the world or whatever. So I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you're doing for the citizen of Canada. And this is wonderful.
Oh, Dave, I appreciate that so much. Do you have a message for the politicians out there, and maybe even for the people who are too scared to go to a protest because they're scared of getting one of those fines?
Well, from my understanding of what's happening, I was just reading before our interview, another lawyer from Quebec saying that these things, according to him, are obviously anti-constitutional. Sorry, they're not based. And I'd like to. I don't know how to formulate it, but basically, I have a big following, and obviously the government loves people that follow the narrative and have a big reach. I'm the black sheep now. I put my like let's say my face on. I put my face out there. Like, look, I'm fighting for transparency. So obviously I'm a target now, and they don't like that. It would be so much easier, you know what I mean, to just be compliant like all the other personalities, all the other comedians, actors, celebrities. We're seeing the true face of I'd like to call them the weak. Same as politicians, they're weak. It takes a lot of guts to go against the narrative. It takes a lot of guts to go, obviously, against this big machine, which is trying to make the Great Reset happen right now. I think it's extremely weak to just comply like this. And yes, these government officials are complying by fear of losing their jobs, losing their re-election, losing their face, and they're getting, I don't know what. Time will tell what they're getting right now. Are they being threatened? Are they being bribed? Are they getting some kind of incentive? But there's something there, because. But I understand the mentality of we've been taught in the educational system to be compliant, to be great employees, to be just absorb information and vomit it on a piece of paper. So for me, it's very understandable that right now we have a society of perfectly obedient people, that it's hard to go against the authority. I myself, I'm a black sheep, and so for me, it's kind of normal. I always went against the current, and but I understand, it's hard for most people. But I'm telling you, this is the biggest fight of our life. This is in my opinion, and again, I'm just the messenger of multitude of epidemiologists, virologists, doctors. This is the biggest hoax ever perpetrated on the human civilization, and time will tell. And I'm telling you guys, we have to. I'm talking to the official here. Try to do the right thing, because this is the future of our life and the future of your constituents. And understand they might at that point they might say, I'm just trying to protect my ass. I'm trying to protect my own family, try to protect my life, because yes, the people that are following the orders of the World Economic Forum and World Health Organization are going to be very well taken care of in the future, obviously, because they're going to facilitate the Great Reset. So, Ford, Trudeau, Legault, and Quebec, all these guys are basically tapped in the back by these globalist elites. And for me, this is it's very weak. And I hope that one day they realize it. They probably don't even realize it right now. And so I'm fighting the good fight. I know what's right, and you guys as well. And I would like to pick everybody that wishes to go to protest, because I'm going to one in the 23rd, I believe, of February in Ottawa. Do it, and most of these fines, if not all, are pushed away because they're not based and they're going against our fundamental rights. So don't be afraid, because, or I'd like to tell them very clearly: do you want to be afraid for one day? You want to be afraid for now, for a year, or you want to be afraid for the rest of your life?
It's great advice, Dave. Thank you so much for talking to me today, and thank you so much for fighting for freedom. You heard me say it. We're going to help Dave fight this fine, because while fighting Dave's fine is obviously going to cost a lot more than $1,500, we think the price to protect freedom from an overreaching government is always worth it. Now, if you'd like to help fund our enormous, in fact, our largest civil liberties project to date of fighting these lockdown fines for people and businesses all across the country, you can donate today at fightthefines.com. And if you're like Dave, a normal person doing a normal thing, and you've received a ticket, please reach out to us. Send us that ticket at fightthefines.com. Plead not guilty. Don't pay the ticket. Fight it. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. If you've received a lockdown ticket, don't pay it. Fight it. Send it to us at fightthefines.com, and we'll put you in touch with a top criminal lawyer. And if you'd like to help fund our civil liberties efforts to defend freedom during the pandemic, you can donate at that special website, fightthefines.com.